Alright guys, welcome back to another pickup video. Whee! Thought I'd do a... Alright guys, welcome back. This time I thought I'd do just a bog standard pickup video. Everyone loves a pickup video. And I've picked up a fair amount of stuff. I tend to pick up quite a lot of stuff. But I'll show you just some of the highlights I've picked up. I'll just jump straight into it because I've got quite a few things to show you. I'll start with the newest. My Wii. I love the Wii. I don't know how anyone could hate the Wii. If you're a retro fan, there's some fantastic games for the Wii. But one game I did pick up is Star Wars 2: The Force Unleashed. Pretty good game actually. I've never actually played the 360 versions or the PlayStation version, so I can't really tell. I do own the original one on the PS2, really enjoyed that. It's an alright game. It's kind of boring, pretty short. I just finished it this morning, in fact, 4.5 hours. But one thing I cannot fault is the controls on the Wii. It is Star Wars games are really made for Wii games. It uses the No More Heroes control style where you're just pressing the button, you didn't have to fucking swing the thing about like a fucking numpty. But you control a lot of your force powers with movements. So for instance, to force push, you just push the nunchuck forward like that, and it's really effective. After half an hour of playing, it's second nature. So it's pretty cheap. I paid £2 for this, so if you see it, it's worth picking up for £2. Another game I picked up is Sam & Max, point and click adventure game by Telltale Games, obviously most famous for the Walking Dead series. I didn't actually know this game existed. I'd had heard of Sam & Max on the PC, downloadable games I'd imagined, and it was they got pretty, well, quite highly regarded. But I saw this for £1, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's all 5 episodes into one. It's pretty good, it's pretty funny actually. And finally for the Wii I picked up Cabella's Survival. It's the latest addition in the long running Cabella hunting series. This one's alright. They tried to make it more third person survival type game. To be honest, it is pretty poor, but the only reason I picked it up was because it came with this bad boy. Oh yeah, Compassion. I mean, everyone has the Wii Zapper for the Wii, but compared to this bad boy, it's pretty fucking poor. I mean, it's even got a magazine and everything. So there you go. It's kind of pointless actually, because since the game's in third person, you never actually get a chance to look down the scope. But it's actually pretty cool for the House of the Dead games and that. And the Wii does have some fantastic first person, old school style shoot 'em up games like Virtual Cop series and things like that. So there you go, that's the Top Shot Elite Zapper for the Wii. So that's the Wii out of the way. What else did I picked up? I managed to pick up another couple of games for my 3DO. I'm almost finished my 3DO collection. I think I've got 3 left to go. I'm in no rush to finish it though, because it kind of makes me sad thinking I'll never buy another game for a particular system. My Dreamcast is the same. I've just picked up one game recently. It's coming in the post, so I've only really got one game left for the Dreamcast that I really want. Retail games, so it's kind of sad. But anyway, for the 3DO, another big box game. Picked up Stellar 7, Draxon's Revenge, sort of like a 3D space shooter. Sort of like the Battle Sport games, if you've ever played them on the 3DO, and like the old Battlezone games for Atari and that. Similar idea. It's pretty good. It's hard going though. I can't get past the second level. But I only paid £2 for that, I think. So, and it's not a big box, so everyone loves the big boxes. And also for the 3DO, I picked up the original survival horror game. I don't care what people say, Sweet Home on the NES isn't the original silent horror game. This is Alone in the Dark. I'm not going to lie to you, this game has aged. It's very clunky, very slow, but you can appreciate it. It's still quite fun, quite scary. There's a few nice couple of bits where when you go into a room it shows you an angle from a particular point in the room and it's a hand-drawn image, and it does look quite spectacular at parts, but majority of the polygon graphics are a bit shitty. But it was only £2, so it's definitely worth having. That's a bit of history, and it's for the 3DO. Can't have enough 3DO games. I only picked up one Sega Saturn game this month. I really need to start buying more Saturn games. I've sold a lot of them in the past. I need to start buying them up again since the price have kind of levelled out. But it's Scorcher, 3D futuristic racing game. I remember this back in the day in an official Sega Saturn magazine. It got quite high reviews, beautiful graphics and some impressive lighting effects. I must admit the graphics aren't that great. I mean, obviously it's 15 years later, but I expected them to be a little bit better. They're a bit muddy, but it plays pretty well, and pretty happy with it. And it's cracking condition with it being one of the clamshell style boxes. So again, I think it was £3 posted, so I can't complain with that. Only picked up one PlayStation game this month. I only tend to pick up PlayStation games if I see them. I don't go on eBay or anything to buy them. But I saw this and I played the first one. I never actually played the second one, but I was never going to leave it behind. It was Parasite Eve 2. Got this for 10 pence. Can't even buy a paper for 10 pence nowadays. So it's in pretty good nick. So I'm pretty happy with that. 10 pence. I will get around to playing it eventually. I will. I'll make a point of playing it. Mega Drive games. Picked up a couple Mega Drive games. Not a huge lot. I just happened to see these in my local cash generator, so I just thought pick it up. So the first one is Jurassic Park Rampage Edition. I'd heard good things about this, well at least I thought I'd heard good things about it, but after playing it I'm not too sure, because I only lasted about 30 seconds and then I fucking did. So hopefully if I figure out how to play it, it might be a good game. Some of the screenshots in the back look quite impressive. See, there's quite a cool one of the T-Rex and that, but so I'll definitely give it another chance. One game that is good, I remember watching Snestastic Pete's video on it not that long ago. He picked up the I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 in the series, but it's Vector Man. Really good run and gun game. I've actually got this on the Sega Smash Pack for the Dreamcast, but it's good to have it for the Mega Drive. It's in average condition, but it was only £2, so I can't really complain about that. But I'm really enjoying that. I'm actually stuck on 4th or 5th level, I think. So it's kind of getting me addicted. And I picked up this game. I didn't really want this game, to be honest. I would prefer it for the PC Engine, but when I saw it for £1 I couldn't complain. And that is Dragon's Fury, a pinball game. Again, highly regarded. Really good game, really good pinball game, lovely effects and that. It scrolls really smoothly and that. I might still pick it up for the PC Engine. It's called Devil's Crush on that, if I'm not mistaken. And as far as I'm aware, there's a sequel to this on the Mega Drive, but the name escapes me. So yeah, Dragon's Fury, pretty good, pretty happy with that. One downside to it though is that it came from a smoker and it is fucking reeking. That's Scottish for smells badly. But so I think what I'm going to do with that. But aye. Right, what will I do next? Couple PC Engine games. Love my PC Engine. Recommend it to anyone. The games are pretty cheap as well. First up is this one. It's Kato-chan and Kenchan. Wild Avenger, I think it's called. It's a pretty good game actually. It also got released for the TurboGrafx as Jeff and JJ, which I'm guessing these are two Japanese sort of comedians, sort of like our Ant and Dec. But it's a pretty good game. It plays a lot like the original Wonder Boy or Adventure Island, sort of like a platformer where you could run and pick up coins and things like that. It's yeah, really I was enjoying it actually. It's pretty good fun, and I got that off eBay for £3 posted, I think. That's the beauty of PC Engine games actually. If you just buy the hue cards, I've actually bought quite a few from Japan, and it's expensive to post from Japan, but because they're hue cards they all fit in the same envelope, so if you buy a few at once, save on posting. Another game for the PC Engine, I'd actually seen this on GameSack a long time ago, and I always fancied it. I don't know why. And it's Batman. This actually plays like no other Batman game you could ever imagine. It's Pac-Man, but as Batman. Basically, Batman is Pac-Man, and you have to run around the stage picking up various things as opposed to dots. It's on the first level you have to pick up packages and parcels for some reason, while avoiding the bad guys. The second level you have to wash graffiti off walls, because Batman's never finished washing graffiti off walls. It's one of his favourite hobbies and pastimes. But it's actually pretty fun. It's quite a large game. It's in spanking condition. This actually came from a guy just along the road from me. He was selling off a lot of his PC Engine stuff. He had a lot of Super Graphics games, but I don't unfortunately have a Super Graphics just yet. So I didn't really want to pay for them because they were quite expensive. I picked up this. It's Batman. It's worth a try. Even if you play it on an emulator or that, it's definitely worth having a wee shot of it, because it's very, not unique in the sense that it's identical to Pac-Man, but it's unique for a Batman game. It's certainly a bit different for Arkham City. Right, N64 now. Sorry if this is a bit long guys, but I'm trying to go as quick as I can. Picked up a couple N64 games. Love my N64. Mostly I'm trying to go for, I've got, I don't know, 80 N64 games, so I've only got around 32 I think it is left in my list of games I fancy. So, and they're starting to get the uncommon games, so I'm having to pay a wee bit more for them. I can't, most of my games I pay for £1, but these are all the £2.50 mark, so I'm really breaking the bank for these bad boys. But I was able to pick up a copy of Mystical Ninja. I've never ever played this game and I always wanted to play it. I actually didn't intend to get a box copy, but it was cheaper to buy this box copy than it was to buy a loose, off Amazon, to buy a loose cart off eBay. So that was £3.50 I think it was. So I couldn't complain about that, because it is starting to go up in price, especially the sequel. But this is more an adventure game than the sequel. The sequel is purely action platformer type game. But this is, I'm actually surprised about how funny this was. With it being a Japanese game, obviously it's translated quite well. It's very comical at parts. So aye, Mystical Ninja, pretty happy with that. A slightly uncommon game this, probably because it's utter shite, is Base Hunter. Fishing game, what can you say about a fishing game? It's not as good as Sega Bass Fishing, but played it for about 40 minutes and it did slowly reel me in. Bazinga! Anyway, platformer game now, Chameleon Twist. Again, just a box standard platformer. The N64's got loads of them, but it's enjoyable. It has a unique twist in that the wee chameleon guy's tongue is sort of his main weapon. You could use it as a rope and to attack enemies and various things. You'd certainly be popular with the ladies when you see the size of his tongue. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was cheap though, but it was on my list of games I wanted. So now 3 racing games now. We'll start with this one. Penny Racers. This is a fantastic game. I'm not sure if it's the sequel or if it's just not a remake, but it was Choro Q on the Sega Saturn, I think. It was one of the games I really wanted for my Sega Saturn back in the day. Unfortunately it didn't come out in Britain, but I did think about importing it until I'd seen the price of it and it was £74. So I didn't actually realise this was available in the N64, so technically I've wanted to play this game for about 18 years. So I was really happy to get it. It's really fun, cartoony, almost cel shaded style graphics, but it's a really fun game. So that's Penny Racers. Next up, Reg Racer 64. Standard Reg Racer. It's quite unique in the sense that it was licensed by Namco, but it was programmed entirely by Nintendo. So it's got that lovely, soft, Vaseline in the eyes look about it. But it's actually a pretty good game. I personally think it's harder than the other Ridge Racers. I don't think the handling's quite... I don't think you can't power slide quite as easily as in this. And when you power slide, you tend to lose a lot of your momentum, which kind of defines the point of power sliding in the first place. I do find the PlayStation versions slightly better, but this is still a pretty good game. Pretty glad I had it, got it. I got it really cheap, because you can pay about £8–10 for this, but I didn't pay that for it. And finally, probably one of the most uncommon games for the British Library. It's almost rare, I would maybe say it's rare, and that is Off-Road Challenge. It's basically Cruising USA, but with monster trucks. It's made by Midway. It's the exact same gameplay as Cruising USA, but it's more outdoor terrain tracks. It's really fun. I mean, I love the Cruising USA games. They're just no frills, just big budget shite games basically, but really good fun to play just for 5–10 minutes. This is the port of an arcade game. The arcade version, most of the Midway arcade games were pretty poor to begin with, so it's a decent enough conversion. So that's Off-Road Challenge. Oh, and finally, I've picked up a bit of a bounty, let's say, of Master System games. I went to 2 shops and they were both selling them off for cheap. So I kind of went a bit daft. I'll see if I can pick these up in one go. So over 20 here. They were all £2 each. So normally I don't like buying loads of games at once, to be honest, because I feel you just sort of play them for a few minutes and fling them on your shelf and never look at them again. But I thought I wasn't going to leave these behind. So I'll just show you some of the highlights, let's say. I'm really enjoying Cybersnake 7J's videos, and now he's going for a full PAL Master System set, so good luck with that, mate. But these are some of the ones I've picked up. So the first one is Golvelius. Really good game. A Zelda clone for the Master System through and through. It was originally out on the MSX computers, if I'm correct. I'm sure I've seen that on Electric Adventures channel. He's a big MSX fan. But it's really good. I would say it's maybe as good, if not better, than Golden Axe Warrior on the Master System. Really enjoying it. So that's Golvelius. Next up is Master of Darkness. If you don't know about this game, it's basically a Castlevania clone. Similar to the last game, Master System basically just took all the best games for the Nintendo and made their own. And in my opinion, being a Master System fan, they made them a lot better, to be honest. The Master of Darkness is a really good game. It can be quite expensive. I looked at a copy, I've been looking for a copy for a while, and they vary for about a tenner. I heard Tino777 on one of his videos, he managed to get it for £1, which was really good going. But just last week I saw it go for £18. so it's definitely one of the games that fluctuates. So I'm pretty glad I got that for £2. Another one is Streets of Rage. Really good version of this on the Master System. It's a little slow, but it's, compared to the limitations of the console, it's really enjoyable. The box isn't in the best condition, to be honest, but it certainly goes for more than £2 on eBay, so I'm certainly glad to have it. Let me see another one, Shinobi. Really good game. Personally, I think it's the best version of Shinobi out there. Much better than the PC Engine version. Couple ones. We've got Laser Ghost. Nice light phaser game. It's not very good, to be honest. New Zealand Story. Really good game. One of my favourite games from my childhood. I remember playing this on the Commodore 64 when I was about 3. Just good memories, good memories. So, what else we got? E-SWAT, Time Soldiers. It's actually a pretty good game. It's a run and gun game. 18 levels on it, which is quite big for a Master System game. Quite an uncommon one, not rare but uncommon. Psychic World. Sort of like a scrolling platformer with slight RPG elements in it. It's okay. I've not gave this too much time, to be honest. Road Rash. I think there's two versions of Road Rash out there. One's made by US Gold and one was made by somebody else that's escaping me right now. But if anyone can tell me why that is, because Road Rash is starting to go up in price. So I don't know what version is actually like the more desirable. If anyone knows, I appreciate that. Desert Speed Trap, Roadrunner game. I like a bit of the Roadrunner. Pretty good game, like most platformers on the Master System. It's pretty good. One game actually I'm really getting into is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This, to be honest, is one of the reasons why I love Master System games. Because when I first played this, I got to the very first guy, died. I thought this game is a steaming pile of shite. But I played it again and again, and after about the third try I got past the first guy, and I was like, whoa. And now I could get to the 5th level without even losing a life. So I just love the progression you see in these old 8-bit games. Like every time you play it, you get better at it, and that's something that I think is lost in newer games with save features and things like that. Usually by the time you get to the end of a modern game, the last thing you want to do is start again from the start. But yeah. So, and finally, Cyborg Hunter. Again, I've not really gave this much play. I've only played it for a few minutes. It seems a pretty decent game. And yeah, that's about it. I've got another 10 or something there as well, but they're just run-of-the-mill games. So there you go, guys. That's my pickups, not just for last month, these have been for the last few months. I'm having to cut down on buying games because me and the missus are in the process of trying to buy a house. So I've been warned to not buy any more, which is fair enough because I've got plenty as it is. So yeah, so there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.